Here's one general law of the universe. The nature of life in the universe is that whenever you're pushing something, it pushes back. Another way of saying this is whatever you resist persists. So what does this mean? Let's say you're experiencing some emotion that you don't want to experience. If you keep resisting it, keep trying to not feel the emotion, if you don't allow the emotion to just be there, if you can't welcome it, then it's gonna push back and you'll feel it even more. It'll never go away. So that's the general law. Whatever you resist persists. What are the odds that you actually exist right now? I want to put your life in perspective. So just think about this for a second. Your dad, of the billions of sperm cells that your dad produced to have met the thousands of eggs that your mom made, like, the chances of you being born is so fucking slim. And then to add to that, the same thing had to have happened for your mom, and then for your dad, and then for your grandparents and your great-grandparents, and so on, that the chances of you actually existing right now to watch this TikTok is damn near almost impossible. Yet here you are. And then you're on this earth for a short period of time, so what the fuck are you doing, man?
There was a Chinese farmer who lost a horse, ran away. And all the neighbors came round that evening and said, "That's too bad." And he said, "Maybe." The next day the horse came back and brought 7 wild horses with it. And all the neighbors came around and said, "Why, that's great, isn't it?" And he said, "Maybe." The next day his son was attempting to tame one of these horses and was riding it and was thrown and broke his leg. And all the neighbors came round in the evening and said, "Well, that's too bad, isn't it?" And the farmer said, "Maybe." And the next day the conscription officers came around looking for people for the army, and they rejected his son because he had a broken leg. And all the neighbors came round at the evening and said, "Isn't that wonderful?" And he said, "Maybe."
Alright, so everyone thinks that Nazis are the most evil groups of people in the world, right? Okay, I want you to try this little thought experiment. I want you to imagine that you were a German citizen born in the year 1912, okay? And you grew up in Germany all your life, and when you turned 13, you started getting flashed Nazi propaganda, okay? And then you turned 18, and you got enlisted into the army, and you're asked to fight alongside your German brothers and participate in the Holocaust. Would you rebel? And the point of this TikTok is not to defend Nazis, okay? I'm not trying to defend Nazis. I'm merely just trying to point out how harmful and powerful groupthink is, okay? Groupthink is our tendency to view the humanity and beauty and uniqueness in people in our group, yet ascribe negative traits and view the other group as like inhuman. And that shit is fucking evil. People at a lower vibration and generally more ignorant people have no nuance to their thought. As in, they think in terms of black and white, like things are either one way or they're another. They can't be either or. Don't fall into this trap. So when they see someone acting in a way that they don't like, they think, "Oh, this person sucks, he's my enemy." And this sort of way of seeing the world really restricts their behavior because they view the world as some unchanging, static thing. And because of this, they don't change themselves. Realize that all behavior is temporary, so you can change your behavior. Nothing is ever as black and white as you think that they are. There's always nuance to everything. Like, there's always reasons for why people act the way that they do. No one is completely good or completely evil. Seeing the nuance in everything makes the world a friendlier place. How does the law of attraction really work? Scientifically speaking, there's a part in the back of your brain. Oh, look at my cat. There's a part in the back of your brain called reticular activating system, also known as your selective focus. What this means is that if you keep having in mind a specific goal or outcome that you want, your brain will naturally start looking for opportunities related to that goal. So one thing that you should be doing right now is to write down your goals. Like, write down exactly what it is that you want to achieve. Most people don't do this, but if you do this, your brain will start to scan your environment for opportunities related to that goal on its own. All this is happening subconsciously. So do that right now and you're more likely to achieve everything that you want. How to find your life purpose, part 1. Ask yourself the following questions. What work do you enjoy doing so much you would be willing to do it for free? And is there any way you can make a living off that? What are some things that have always sparked your interest? What are the things that are unique or almost unique to you? In other words, what are things that only you can contribute to the world? What would you be doing if you knew that you couldn't fail? put simply, these are your unique talents that you enjoy doing. And to find your life purpose, you take them and turn them into something that you can give and express into the world. How to find your life purpose, part 2. So this is a separate technique, but what you want to do is grab a pen and paper and just start writing in the corner of the page, what is my life purpose? And then you just start writing freely for like 20 minutes, okay? Write down whatever comes to mind. Like, some ideas might make sense, some might not. The whole point is to just associate freely and not overthink or overanalyze. And by the end of it, you'll have this list. So just keep writing. Don't stop after a paragraph. Write until tears start coming down your face. Be very careful that you don't fall into the trap of thinking that whatever you see on the news is an accurate representation of what's really going on around the world. Because what you see on the news is only 0.0001% of what's really going on. Like, the purpose of these mainstream media platforms and these news channels is to gain the most amount of clicks and generate the most amount of attention as possible. So what they do is they create clickbait, rage bait. They just loop on these absurd narratives that get us stressed and angry and fearful and talk about threats. And what the fuck is my cat doing, man? And they do all this and it works. I mean, it's a natural response. But what you find is that these people who are always consuming mainstream media, they're in this constant like state of negativity, and they're in this lower vibration, always paranoid, always angry and fearful against this imaginary enemy.